All right, welcome future real estate pros. This is your final prep session before the big exam. But look, we're not here to just memorize answers to pass a test. Today, we're going to build the foundation for a long, successful career. Think of this as your personal crash course to really lock in the concepts that matter.
Okay, let's just dive right in with a classic scenario. I can almost guarantee you're going to see something like this. So, John's got a bar, he's been there for years, but now the neighborhood is rezoned to residential only. So what's his move? This question gets right to the heart of property rights versus government power, something you'll deal with all the time.
And the answer is A, apply for a non-conforming use permit. Now, the really interesting thing here is the idea behind it, which you've probably heard called grandfathering. Basically, the law recognizes that his business was there before the rules changed, so it gives him a legal way to continue. Getting this concept down is so important for protecting your client.
So, we've broken this whole thing down into 4 key pillars. You absolutely have to know these, not just for the exam, but for your career. We're going to hit property fundamentals, how to value a property, the art of the contract, and the big one, your professional duty. Let's get into it. First up, property fundamentals. Seriously, everything you do in real estate comes back to this. If you can really nail down what property is, legally, and what the rights are that come with it, everything else just clicks into place.
Imagine this super simple scenario. This comes straight from the prep materials. A homeowner has a wooden fence. It's attached to the land, it's considered an improvement, which makes it real property. But then they tear it down. Now it's just a pile of lumber. That simple act just changed the legal status of that property right in front of our eyes.
So that action, it has a legal name, severance. When that fence was standing, it was part of the real estate deal. The second it was severed from the land, boom, it became personal property. You have to know that term for the exam, and you'll definitely need to explain it when a client asks if that amazing crystal chandelier is included in the sale.
Okay, now let's clear up something that confuses a lot of people, how a bunch of people can own a property together. This chart breaks down the 2 big ones. I want you to focus on that top row, the right of survivorship. With joint tenancy, if one owner passes away, their share automatically goes to the other owners. Simple. But with a tenancy in common, their share goes to their heirs. Understanding that one difference is absolutely critical.
All right, let's talk about money. Understanding property value isn't just about slapping a price on a listing. It's about seeing all the invisible things that create that value. And you know what? This is the knowledge that takes you from being just another agent to being a trusted advisor people can't live without. Here's a fancy-sounding term that's actually really simple: functional obsolescence. This is when a house loses value because its design is just, well, bad. Think of a 5-bedroom house with only 1 bathroom, or a kitchen that's tiny and cut off from the rest of the house. The house isn't falling apart, it's just functionally outdated for how people live today.
Now, put your agent hat on for this one. A brand new, top-rated school is opening up in a neighborhood. All of a sudden, you see agents start raising the list prices on nearby homes. What are they thinking? What principle of appraisal are these smart agents tapping into?
They're using the principle of anticipation. See, value isn't just about what's there right now. It's about what people expect to happen in the future. Your job as the local expert is to know what's coming: a new park, a grocery store, that school, and help your clients understand how that anticipation changes the value today.
And when appraisers and agents are trying to figure out value, they always come back to these 4 things. Just remember the acronym DUST. Is there demand for it? Does it have utility? Is it useful? Is it scarce? Are there not many of them? And can its ownership be easily transferred? If you're missing even one of these, a property has no real value.
Okay, let's get into the paperwork. This is the heart of every single transaction. A rock-solid understanding of contracts is really what separates the pros from the amateurs. This is where deals are made, protected, and sometimes where they fall apart.
So many people get this wrong, even some agents. So when does an offer actually become a legally binding contract? It's not when the buyer signs. It's not even when the seller signs it. A contract is officially formed the moment that the seller's acceptance is communicated back to the buyer or their agent. That final step, communication, is everything.
So what happens when a deal goes south? In this scenario, the buyer just walks away for no good reason. They've breached the contract. The seller decides to keep the earnest money deposit. This is a very specific remedy that was agreed upon beforehand.
This is called liquidated damages. It's a key clause you'll find in pretty much every sales contract. Basically, both sides agree up front that if the buyer bails, the seller gets to keep the earnest money as full compensation, and everybody can just move on without a big, expensive lawsuit. It's a pre-negotiated solution to a potential disaster.
All right, this last section, this is, without a doubt, the most important one. The license you're about to get gives you the power to do the job, but it's your professional duty, your ethics, that will actually give you a career. This is all about trust.
Just listen to this ethical nightmare. A broker is supposed to be representing the sellers. His sellers told him in confidence that they're getting divorced and just need to sell fast. What does he do? He turns around and tells a potential buyer to put in a lowball offer because of that exact situation.
This broker completely destroyed the trust he was supposed to have. He violated the duty of loyalty because he put the buyer's interests and his own interest in a quick sale ahead of his clients. And he obviously violated the duty of confidentiality by spilling their private information. This is how you lose your license.
And here's the bottom line. It doesn't matter if the sellers were desperate and would have taken the low offer anyway. The ethical line was already crossed. The damage was done. Your duty is to your client, period. Protecting their secrets is the same thing as protecting your own career. And hey, when you do the job right, you get paid for it. So let's do the math on a real-world commission so you can see how it all works. A house sells for $365,000. Your broker's side of the commission is 2.5%, which is $9,125. Now, if your split with your broker is 60-40, you walk away with $5,475 from this one deal. That's the reward for being a pro.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap. Master these core ideas. Understand the basics of property, like severance and the types of tenancy. Know that value is always changing, thanks to things like obsolescence and anticipation. Be a stickler for contracts, and remember that communication is key. And above all, know that your duty to your client is the foundation for everything.
We'll end with this thought. Everything we talked about today will help you ace that exam. That's the first step. But the real test, the one that's going to define your entire career, that starts the day you get your first client. The question is no longer just what you know, but how you're going to use it to earn their trust for life. Now go out there and crush that exam. You've got this.